Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live. Um, this has been one of the craziest weeks of work I have ever had, and it's partially because I'm learning a new job, I'm learning a new trade. Um, it has been hectic to say the least, but I wanted to get you guys a live preview out before this match. Um, Pancaj, good to see you. Luca, good to see you as well. EB, good to see you. So it just, like I said, I wanted to get you guys. I wanted to get you guys a video out. I did. Good morning to you all. It is 4:09 a.m. right now here in Arizona. 4:09 a.m. So it has been it's just been one of those weeks, guys. It's been one of those weeks, and it's made me realize that I'm gonna have to put out some pre-recorded content for you guys. I'll probably have to come home from work and go live afterwards, and be able to go right into it. I'll put you guys out videos, and then hopefully, whenever I can, I will go live with you guys. But anyways, Danny, I'm sorry about that. EB, yeah, it's pretty crazy. 4:09. And I like I said, I know it's 11, like just past 11 for you guys over there in the UK. And Pancak's 4:39 in India. Yeah, Luca, who needs rest? Coffee. Plus, we have lineups coming out in about 20 minutes. So the plan is because Matthew, I'm guessing Matthew is on that Arizona sleep schedule. So he is actually basically cycling normal sleep times for us in Arizona, which is also like 4 a.m. over there in the UK for you guys. So kind of crazy. Yeah, Arthur's right here. He's underneath the table. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, guys, let's go ahead. Let's jump into this Fulham match. So obviously, we beat Fulham 4-1 the last match. Their only goal coming off of a penalty. And some might argue it was a questionable penalty at that. But yeah, the dog is awake as well. 10 p.m. in Melbourne. Wow, Luca. That's crazy. That is crazy. Like, it is crazy to think about worldwide the times that Manchester United fans watch matches. And the thing is, I don't know what's easier. I don't know if it's easier just great example, people in Australia. I think that you guys would have to be awake until about 2-3 a.m. to watch our earliest matches. I don't know. But yeah, I'd imagine in India, this is like basically primetime game for you guys. But guys, let's go ahead. Let's jump into some stats. There's really not a lot of players that I'm worried about for Fulham. I mean, really, there's not. And getting into those stats, I mean, I know Mitrovic has 10 goals this year, which that is a lot. And then Andre Schürrle has 6. So but besides them, there's really not a lot of in terms of like target men that I'm worried about scoring goals. But I will say this, Alexander Mitrovic is a threat on goal at all times for Fulham. I mean, and the dude does have a bit of a mean streak. We saw that in the match against Tottenham. So I don't know, because here's the thing. Fulham have recently started to look better. Amen, Soph. Let's go United. And Sophie, so good to see you. It has been just a hellacious week, and I'm gonna have to do more pre-recorded content, unfortunately. But you know what? It is what it is. But Ryan Sessegnon is also somebody that I always mention that is dangerous. If Ryan Sessegnon is on his game and Ashley Young is starting this game, I will be very, very worried about our right back side. I will be very worried because Ryan Sessegnon is one of those guys that he's got pace. He's got the ability to put in a good cross. So if you want to call me on Skype, you're more than welcome to. I'll message you my my Skype name if you want to Skype me. You're more than welcome to. Here I'm gonna DM you right now. Sorry, guys. The show took a bit of a turn, but that's okay. We don't always have to go on plan. But yeah, like this game should be an easy one. It should be an easy one. And for me, Fulham are a team that I am slightly worried about because I don't want to get that laxing mentality. I don't want to get that. Basically, I don't want to get into the mentality that, oh, it's just Fulham. We've got PSG midweek. You know, that's what I'm worried about. GT and SR, yes. That's what we are going to get. Phil Jones hat trick. Because I actually do think that we will get a combination of Phil Jones and somebody else, because I think that Victor Lindelof will not be playing. I'm almost willing to bet that Victor Lindelof will not be playing. Peter, I don't know. I don't think that PSG are going to thrash us by any means whatsoever. For me, PSG, they've got a lot of injuries right now. Neymar's out. Verratti's out. I mean, they've still got Kylian Mbappe and Cavani, but I'm not super worried about Cavani. I mean, I'm not. But to me, this match against Fulham is what we in the American football world call a trap game, because Fulham are a team that is second bottom from the league. They are reaching a point right now where it looks like they might get relegated. And to me, Peter, I mean, you may be right. You never know. You may be right. It's possible. I mean, and here's the thing. I think that I am going to bet on Manchester United under Ollie to have a good result, at least at home. At least at home. But Fulham are a team that I look as a trap game because we do have PSG midweek. And so we're going to think, and we're going to have that mentality of, okay, well, we can go in, we can steamroll through these guys. We don't have to put in our best effort, but we've got PSG. And that's where we need to really play. You know, and like you said, Vandy, PSG will be hard. Nick, it's okay. I'm sure it's just because I'm an American, and I don't mind. If I don't mind taking the hate. And let me tell you what, I do this because I love you guys, and I'm here to do this with you guys. But yeah, like Lucas said, this will be an exciting game no matter what. Sophie, how you doing?
Hello, Andrew. I'm good, thanks.
Oh man, I've had one of those weeks, Sophie. It's just been one of those weeks. I felt like I've basically been doing a whole lot, but at the same time doing nothing, because I basically got one day of training and then all week it was just work. But let's go ahead. Let's preview Fulham. Sophie, Fulham, is there anybody on the team that you're really worried about? What's going on? Sophie, are you still there?
Hello?
There you are.
We're back.
We're back.
I said, to be honest, if Phil Jones starts at the back, Mitrovic, I think, can be a handful.
Yes.
So that's my biggest worry today, because I'm never fully confident with Phil Jones at the back.
And honestly, neither am I. And I know that in your video you were talking about Phil Jones. So I am. I do think that Phil Jones will likely start this match. I think that we're going to look to give Victor Lindelof some time off in this game with PSG coming up midweek. I think that we will actually see a lot of squad rotation in this game. I mean, do you agree?
Yeah, I'm seeing rumours that Mata and Lukaku are apparently starting. I'm not sure how true that is. I do think we need to rotate our squad. However, we already know ourselves that there's a lot of deadwood, there's a lot of players who aren't good enough. And I just don't want to see top four slip away. I don't know if I'd put this game really as my top priority at the minute. But we've got a real tough run of games coming up. And we do need to rotate. But I think I'm just worried that it's going to highlight how weak our squad actually is.
There is that worry, and it's the same thing that happened when we had a large amount of squad rotation in the FA Cup game against Reading. That we had 9 changes come in, and that was my biggest worry, is that we're going to see a lot of squad rotation, but we will see the weaknesses in our squad, because I do think that the likelihood of seeing Rashford start is small. I think we might see Martial start to try and get him some fitness levels going, but since he hasn't started a game recently.
I thought Martial looked a bit sloppy, to be honest, when he came on last week. And if I'm being honest, I was really worried the Burnley game when Rashford missed that early chance and Rashford was misfiring. He had a bit of a sloppy game, you could say. I know he's been the golden boy of late. He scored again against Leicester. But when Rashford doesn't score or Rashford isn't in form, we look like a different team. And we can't rely solely on Rashford. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a very talented player, but I just worry if he was to get injured or anything was to happen, obviously God forbid that, but is that then our season over? I mean, we can't rely on individuals.
No, we shouldn't just rely on one player. That's the thing. And, you would wonder if maybe then Martial might go up top, because I think that the way that this system works, you need someone with pace and that's going to play off the shoulder of the last man to be able to be the lead striker, because I feel like this system works best with that. And which is surprising, because I feel like that's how Lukaku plays best, but I feel like Lukaku doesn't want to play at the moment.
I think it's probably unpopular opinion, but I tweeted this every week. I think Lukaku at United, he's been most effective when he's pulled out onto that right-hand channel. A bit like when he set up Lingard's goal against Arsenal. When he pulled into that right-hand channel, he seems to be more comfortable doing that and running at players rather than with his back to goal, because we all know he struggles with his first touch. And look, you're right. We need people who can run into the channels and hold the ball up and link up the play. And Lukaku hasn't got that in his game at the minute, especially. He seems more comfortable pulling it onto that right-hand side than directly running at players. So I would rather, if he does play, I would rather see him there, to be honest with you.
No, and I agree with you. I think that, maybe in the sense, if we're doing the 4-4-2, where we kind of have that false 9, number 10, putting Lukaku over on that right-hand side actually suits him a little bit, because he actually can put in a cross from that right-hand side pretty decently. The one thing I will say is Lukaku does have a decent cross. I'm not going to fault him on that. But like you said, his first touch is absolutely abysmal. And not to mention his fitness levels are absolutely abysmal. I mean, I saw your tweet after our last match where he came on as a sub, and after 10 minutes, he looked like he had played a full 90 plus the stoppage time, and he looked like he had basically been playing all match. And when I saw Ashley Young be like, "Hey, go make a run, go do something," I was like, "Okay, you're done at this club," because I think that he knows that he is done under Ollie in terms of being a starter.
I think the thing is, Rashford is proactive where he tries to make things happen. He's constantly chasing them defence, whereas Lukaku seems to be a bit reactive, and slowly reactive as well. He doesn't have a footballing brain, I don't think. It takes him a few seconds to register what movement he needs to do. It doesn't seem natural to him. Whereas Rashford, playing in this system, it's definitely more natural. And he makes things happen just by his sheer energy and his sheer work rate. And we saw, you're right, that example with Ashley Young when he's looking to play at someone and Lukaku was flat-footed. And I do say he's lazy a lot of time, yes, but I think in that situation, it's more he didn't know what to do. He's not the same wavelength as a lot of players in our team. And I think that really shows, especially with Rashford playing up front lately. The team seems to click a lot more. It's a lot more fluid going forwards. Lukaku is very delayed. Like I say, he's reactive rather than Rashford, who is more proactive.
Yeah, and Rashford is very proactive in Ollie's system. And I do think that in the summer, so I think we will see the likes of Alexis Sanchez and Romelu Lukaku moved on to other teams, because I think that especially if we are going to have a person that comes in, what I hope it's Ollie. I think we all hope that it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that comes in, but I think that if we have someone like Ollie come in, I think that that's going to be where we'll see players like Lukaku sold on, like Sanchez sold on. Now, I think Sanchez will be sold on regardless. I think that, as unfortunate as it is, his time at Manchester United just has not worked out. And
Yeah.
I think it's time for him to go to a slower league.
Yeah, people got on my back last week about me tweeting about Lukaku and saying, why aren't you saying the same thing about Sanchez? And the only difference I can say is Sanchez, I think he is trying. Like, I think he's actively trying, he's working. It's just not coming off for him. I don't know if he's lost a yard of pace or what. It just doesn't seem to be working. Whereas Lukaku, you can clearly see, it's like he doesn't want to try. He's gambling around, and that's the difference. Don't get me wrong, Sanchez hasn't lit the world up. He's been very, very poor. But the one thing I will say, he does still have that work ethic. He does still try, even though it's not fully coming off. And as long as I can see a player trying, then I'm fully supportive of him. But I think you are right. He will move on because he just hasn't cut it in the United shirt.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. Like, it just Sanchez, like you said, you could see that like he's at least trying, but it just looks like it's just not going to work for him. And as unfortunate as that is, it's the truth. And at the same time, I feel like in this system, I would keep Sanchez before I would keep Lukaku, even though Sanchez, to me, he just doesn't have it anymore. He looks like he might get that like Wayne Rooney type of treatment where at 29 he's done. Maybe his best years started young.
I mean, if you saw the movement for his goal at Arsenal, that movement was absolutely fantastic. And I kind of feel like he has lost a yard of pace. And in the minute, he's been very, very predictable. He's always trying to cut inside and do that little dink ball. And it's almost like if you think of Ronaldo, yes, he's lost a yard of pace, but he's adapted his game with that. He's adapted the way that he plays because he's still a top player.
Yes.
He's not as quick as he used to be, but he's just changed his game. And that's what Sanchez, I think, is trying to do right now. I think at Arsenal, he had the desire, he had the pace where he could literally grab the game by the scruff of the neck and beat 1-2 men and try and do it on his own, really. Whereas at United, he just doesn't seem to have that in his locker anymore. And I think he's still trying to find what his best attribute is now, really, because it used to be his pace and his willingness to beat a man. He doesn't have that anymore. He's still got the intelligence. He's proved that with his goal against Arsenal, his movement in behind. And maybe we need to see more of that. Maybe Sanchez needs to be played more centrally for us to get the best out of him.
In playing Sanchez kind of in that false 9, number 10 role, I actually think that it would suit him. I think that would actually suit him in a way that would help the team. But at the same time, I think we all noticed that like during the Mourinho era, we saw Sanchez kind of float more centrally. And then it was like him and Pogba just didn't mesh centrally because I feel like they both try and get into those same areas. And at the same time, if that's where he's going to work best, I'm sure we can work with that. I'm sure we can work with what he's going to do because we do need like, in fact, I just heard in a video yesterday, I was listening to Paul Gardner and Ash Boyo on the Talking Manchester United podcast, and they were talking about the fact that, you know, with Sanchez, you know, you're getting somebody that can help the team, but at the same time, he's not having it come off for him at the moment. So
he played briefly. I think it was the Bournemouth game and another game with Jose in charge. But he was playing as a striker, wasn't he? You know, he did get more involved in the game. He did look slightly more effective playing in that central role. You're correct. But having him out wide and then keep cutting in. One, he's right. He cuts off Pogba's space and he does restrict Pogba in terms of the options that he has on the ball as well. Because we need width. I think that's what Rashford has proven, and Martial has proven, Lingard, that they bring us good width, especially when we're counter-attacking. We need the space. Our players operate best when there's space, especially with Pogba driving forwards and he's got those channels to play into. With the likes of Alexis out wide and Mata, players who cut inside, I think that then limits our options going forwards, and that's when we start to struggle.
No, absolutely. Well, so real quick, we've got 2 minutes before the lineups are supposed to come out. You want to give me your predicted lineup for today?
Oh, okay. The hiring goal. I'd like to see Delo given a start, to be honest. Phil Jones. I would like to see Eric Boyer given a chance again. Luke Shaw, then Matic, Herrera, Pogba, Mata, Lukaku, Martial.
Okay, so I'm not too far off of you there. So I'm going with De Gea in goal because I think a goalkeeper can pretty much play match in and match out. Delo on the right. I'm going to go with Jones and Smalling as the center back pairing because I think that Bailly and Lindelof will start against PSG. I do think that Shaw will start on the left. I think we'll see a midfield three of Matic, Fred, and Pogba. It's either going to be Matic, Fred, and Pogba or Pereira, Fred, and Pogba because I think that we need to give Pereira another match just to give him confidence back after a horrible match. And then I think that with the front three will be Martial, Lukaku, and Mata. Because I think based on if you saw rumors that Mata is going to be starting, I think that Mata will be starting. And I hope that if Mata is starting, that we get him kind of in that false nine, number 10 role instead of as a right winger.
I just worry. I absolutely love Juan Mata, but you know for a fact when he's starting, he's going to come inside, and I just worry because when we lack width, that's when we really struggle. And he naturally wants to come inside, and it's a shame really that he's being forced out onto the wing because he's not a winger at all. But just look at the amount of important goals that he scored for United from that position. I think it just shows how intelligent and how good of a player he really is. And people seem to write him off when he's being played a bit out of position, and I really do feel sorry for him.
Oh, I do too. And it's something we've talked about on this show quite a few times. The fact that for me, Juan Mata is somebody that I absolutely love him. I love Juan Mata, the man. But if we are not going to be playing Juan Mata as a number 10 or as a false 9, basically, I feel like we're really doing him a disservice. A disservice. And real quick, so Sophie, here is the lineups for today. We're getting De Gea, Delo, Jones, Smalling, and Shaw, Herrera, Matic, Pogba, and then Mata, Lukaku, and Martial.
Cool.
So
we're not far off. We're not far off.
Yeah, exactly.
Did Fred make it? Did Fred make the squad?
So Fred did not make the squad. So here's the bench. We've got Romero, Bailly, Young, McTominay, Alexis, Rashford, and Lingard. So, I mean, it is surprising to see McTominay get a bench option there. I mean, I don't know if you saw his goal that he scored in the U23 match, but I think that for me, that's been the Scott McTominay that I thought we might see eventually under Ollie, somebody that was kind of scoring goals because he was a striker early on in his youth career.
I think McTominay, his composure on the ball, I know he gets slated because he's kind of the player who just gets the ball and passes it short, keeps it simple. He's not the kind of adventurous player that we haven't seen him being an adventurous player, a creative player. He's been more the kind of player who breaks it down and just passes it simple. But in the words of Fergie himself, you know, he rates him very, very highly. And you kind of have to go with it. I think he's definitely one for the future. I know he's not that young still and people slate him, but he's got something about the kid. I do genuinely think that. And I do feel sorry for him because, you know, there are games where you do need a player to do that, to just be the gritty one in the middle, to win the ball and give it. There are games where you need a player like that.
Yeah.
And I just think that Jose played him in the wrong games. He played him in the games where we needed to attack, and I think he became a bit of a scapegoat, really. It wasn't his fault that he was chosen, and that was down to the tactics of the manager.
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely right on that. And just, you know, I've got MUTV on in the background. I see Juan Mata in terms of where their lineup is. I see them kind of playing him behind Martial and Lukaku, who are kind of playing up top. It looks like they're kind of listing us as a 4-3-1-2. So, kind of interesting.
I kind of like the sound of that because I think, like we've already said, we can't really rely on Lukaku's first touch with his back to goal. So at least as a 2, he's got that support up there with him. He's not going to be as isolated. So yeah, that's quite interesting. I look forward to seeing that. Yeah,
and then De Gea is captain as well, which I think we can all get behind.
Definitely. Good choice.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, Sophie, I mean, we can talk a little bit more about the match really quick. So, I mean, Fulham, Manchester United. I mean, how do you see the match shaking out? What's going to be your score prediction?
Well, I did a preview just on my channel, and I actually said I thought Rashford was going to start, and I put him down to score, so I'm obviously going to change that now. But 4-1 is my prediction. I would like to think we keep a clean sheet, but I think Fulham, yes, they're one of the worst teams in the league, but no matter what, whenever a team is playing United, no matter who it is, they always up their game to the next level. They will want this today. They're at home as well, of course. They're desperate for points. Mitrovic, I've already said, will be a handful, so I think we'll concede. But I think we've got more than enough quality going forwards to cause them problems. And I think 4-1 is my prediction. I hope to see Herrera get on the score sheet, Martial, and I'm going to say Pogba. Then I'm going to replace. I said Rashford to get 2. I'm going to put Pogba up there today. So yeah, hopefully our front three get a goal. And Herrera, that's my prediction. 4-1 United win.
Yeah, and that would be a great accomplishment to get Herrera getting on the score sheet again. I mean, Herrera is another guy that I would absolutely love to see get the captaincy. I feel like he is one of the most underrated players in our team. Just goes out and does whatever the manager asks of him. And real quick, guys, just so you know, if you want to have your score predictions read out, I know a lot of people at this point have probably tuned over to the United Stand, so that's okay. But if you guys want to get your scores read out or right now, we're wrapping it up here. And so, I mean, I agree with Sophie. So I actually think that because Smalling is starting, I think Smalling will be the guy likely on Mitrovic, at least in the sense of, once they are in their attacking third. I think that right there could help. As much as people like to give Chris Smalling grief, the one thing we can give him some credit for is he does tend to be good in the air. And the one place I'm going to worry about Mitrovic, if it was Phil Jones and anybody else starting, I would be worried about Phil Jones being on Mitrovic because Phil Jones has the hops of a obese man. So it's absolutely pathetic. But who is United Stan and who's signing? I appreciate that, Archer. But let's go ahead. Let's read out your guys' score predictions, and I'll give mine at the end. So Peter Morn said 2-0. Dan Jones said 3-1. Let's see. Chong, unlucky to miss out, said Chris McTeague. Yeah, I was kind of hoping we might see a youth product or two in this game. Besides, I mean, I know that McTominay and Rashford are technically youth products, but I was hoping to see the likes of Chong, Greenwood, Gomez, one of the three on the bench. I mean, what about you, Sophie?
Yeah, I heard that Chong had travelled with the squad, so I was hoping that he would feature at some point today. It's a shame that he hasn't, but as I've said, we've got a lot of tough games coming up, and I think this game really should be a priority because top 4 is now in sight. Yes, it's arguably the easiest game out of the run that we've got coming up, but it's a must-win game, and we can't be complacent. We can't be too complacent. I think we've played poorly the last few games. Yes, we've still got results, but I think we haven't been as effective going forward. So I think it's a massive game for us today, and we can't underestimate Fulham.
No, we cannot. And I think that if we kind of have it, I was talking a little bit earlier about here in American football, we call these trap games because this is a game where we could go in with a lax mentality thinking, oh, we beat Fulham 4-1 earlier in the year. This shouldn't be a problem for us. Let's worry about PSG at midweek. So my hope is that we keep the right mentality. And if we have the right mentality going into this game, I see no way that we don't walk out of this with a win. So Danny Dobson did say 4-1, and he put a 10-pound bet on it to get 380 back, which that would be awesome for you, Danny. So Danny's buying beers if he wins that bet.
I was going to say, he took that from me, so I want a bit of commission on that if he wins.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I like that. So Barry J said 4-1 United. Lukaku and Pogba will score today. I really hope that is the case. Vandy Candy said we've rotated enough as it is. Need some firepower on the bench, which that is fair. I get that. And then Nick Archer said 3-0 for me, I hope. So I'm actually going to be going with a 3-0 as well. I think that with it being an away match, I think we're going to see us play a little bit more defensively. I could see us being a little bit more weary of them kind of attacking us harder because, I mean, when you're playing in front of your home crowd, you want to at least try and put on a show. But I think that will play into Manchester United's hands in the counterattack. And with having the likes of Pogba and Mata that can play a pass, that's absolutely deadly. I'll put it into Manchester United and say, hey, this is on you, and you should be winning a game like this against a team that is looking likely to get relegated. As unfortunate as it is, I think they are an unlikely team to get relegated at the moment unless Claudio Ranieri can get them playing better, because it's surprising that they're not as good as they could be.
Don't forget they had a massive result though. They had a big comeback, didn't they?
They did.
Like last week. So they'll be absolutely buzzing from that as well. They'll take confidence from that. And like I say, against United, every team always ups their game. So it won't be an easy game for us today, which is why we need to come out the blocks quick.
Yes, exactly. So there's two more scores. I'm sorry, Mr. Exclusive's got 2-1. Not happy with all the changes. And then AFAF said Lukaku starting means we won't score more than one and by a fluke. I hope that's not the case. I really do hope that's not the case. And my hope is, so if we see it's not working in the first half, if we haven't scored in the first half, I think that we need to change it up. And I think that, especially if it's not working for Lukaku, because Lukaku to me is the weak link in terms of what that front three could be today. I'm not worried about Mata if he's playing centrally. I'm worried about Lukaku. So if Lukaku can show up today, then I think that this should be an easy win. But if he doesn't, then I hope we make the changes early and that we get the likes of Rashford or Lingard on as quick as possible.
Yeah, because I think the longer this game goes on where we're not winning, the more confidence Fulham will get and the more shaky we will become. I think we've proven that really against Burnley. The longer the game went on, the more they drew into it, and then obviously they nicked some goals. Yeah, we got lucky getting back into that one and getting a point, but I just think that we need to be on the front foot from the off, really. And I think if we get an early goal or two, then they will crumble.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. So I think that if we come out and we score early, then I think that they will just I think their heads will drop. I think that the longer we let them stay in that game, the higher they're going to hold their heads. And they're going to be like, okay, well, maybe we can, pull out something from this game. So my hope is we go out there, score early, and we really take it to them. I think that's going to be the key, is to take it to them. Try not to sit too far back, and let's come away with a win today, because we have no excuses for not beating a team that is second bottom in the league. We have no excuses for it. So guys, I didn't expect Sophie to be joining me today. So Sophie, thank you so much for joining me. Sophie has her own channel, guys. If you aren't subscribed to it, if you're subscribed to me and not subscribed to her, go subscribe to her. She has an awesome channel, and I love her content. Sophie, is there anything else you want to shout out besides that?
No, just looking for a United win, and thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And anytime you need me to come on, and if I'm available, I'm more than willing to do so. Fingers crossed for plenty of goals for United today.
Let's hope so. Let's hope that we do get that 4-1 that you're calling, which would equal our result against them earlier in the year. Or let's hope we can keep a clean sheet with the likes of the Chuckle Brothers in the back. So that's just a hope. But guys, just genuinely, thank you for joining us this morning. It's, in case you guys didn't already know, it's only 4:42 a.m. here. Woke up at 3:30 to make sure I was here live with you guys. So just thank you for joining us. Let's all go watch this Manchester United match. Let's go watch Manchester United come away with a huge win. But guys, just genuinely, I love you guys. And I hope that you guys have a great night, a great day, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. Keep doing you, because I love you guys and you guys are awesome. Let's go United.